Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and welcome to this week's WandaVision. I mean, it's Wanda, basically, episode. And episode 7, you might be wondering where the hell is the review for episode 6. Well, I got sick, and we just were not able to get the review up, and I feel horrible. Best intentions was to get that review up. I just was so sick that I literally couldn't get up to my computer to record it. But this week's episode, of course, you know I'm here with the wonderful, amazing Allie. And
that's a new one that you introduced me as.
What?
That's a new way you introduced me as, for sure.
Well, Allie, you're the person that is just getting into the Marvel universe. You're just learning. We're just watching the movies. We've gotten through Thor with you, so you know Darcy. You know some background with Darcy.
Yep.
What was your thoughts on this week's episode?
It's definitely building up to something, for sure. And I am excited to see what next week's episode is going to be like.
Yeah, we only have 2 left.
I know, and that kind of concerns me of where this is going, because I'm hoping that they're going to be a little bit longer of episodes.
Yes. So the setup they made today, they need at least 2 more hours to really wrap things. Because you just introduced a whole new subplot to the show.
Yeah.
You have... Well,
I mean, it was one that we saw coming, but...
It's still new because you got some things to introduce when it comes to Agatha and everything. The fact that she has this whole evil lair in her basement.
Where the fuck are the twins?
Where the fuck are the twins?
There's so many questions.
So Agatha was controlling Pietro, but does that mean the Pietro is not a recast of Pietro, but it's actually controlled by her? Is it someone else? Is it the Pietro from the X-Men universe? We got that post-credit scene with Monica, and he's in a beanie and all, and questions. This episode left more questions than answers. And with 2 episodes to go, I don't think we should be asking more questions.
Yeah, there's just too many questions.
So, I want to, because sitcoms is a huge part of this show. I feel like this episode, while it wasn't really focused on the sitcom aspect, you got the Office theme, you got Modern Family vibes.
Which was great. I loved those, but I personally love those shows.
Yeah, but
I've never seen The Office, but
I think the problem was because everything was changing decades during the episode, and Wanda was changing stuff. You had Darcy and Vision stuff going on then you had Monica trying to come through, and it didn't really she tried to use a vehicle. I thought the whole point of her getting a vehicle was for it to match the decade so it could easily pass through.
I think they don't know what decade it is.
Well,
and clearly, it shows because Wanda
doesn't know. But I felt like the sitcom aspect this episode kind of fell flat. Because you had Vision kind of just, what am I doing? I give up. And it's like, I shouldn't even been doing this. And then he takes the mic off. You have Wanda getting asked a question from behind the camera, and Wanda's like, that's not supposed to happen. And there's just so many little things that I felt like kind of took away from the episode. I felt like if you're gonna have Wanda basically breaking the sitcom aspect by the decades changing and all, just roll with that. Don't worry about trying to then squeeze in some more Office or Modern Family aspects. Don't worry about it. Just go full on. Wanda's starting to really lose it. That was more like the losing it is more interesting than trying to stick concrete to that sitcom. Monica. She has her powers. Don't 100% know what her powers entail. I'm not too familiar with her character in the comics, so I can't really dive much into that. But you heard her Captain Marvel scenes come through as she's trying to force her way through the barrier. And she gets her powers. Her and Wanda are about to have the standoff, and then Agatha comes in and is like, nope, not at all. And then you did get the change of genres. Like, if it was like, you know what, we're a horror movie now. Right in the middle. So, I'm all over the place with this episode. It wasn't as concrete and spectacular as the previous week's episodes.
Yeah, it was just all right.
Yeah, and I wish they did more with Vision and Darcy, because it just became kind of... Darcy was just there to fill in exposition for Vision. And I'm like, you could have used Darcy in a lot more ways than that. Especially how we've seen Darcy in the previous episodes. The episode was okay. I think if they were able to have it a little bit longer and flesh out some things, it would have done a lot better.
I can agree with that.
Predictions, Allie. What do you think's going to happen next week?
Oh, I don't do predictions, man. I'm not too sure, if I'm being honest.
Just okay. Let's not do the prediction then. Just what was one thing you liked and one thing you disliked about the episode?
I mean, I liked the comedy aspect of things, but I feel like that's a level that we haven't quite seen, yet. But you know, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Okay,
my mind's kind of all over the place with this episode.
It really is. I'm all over the place with the episode. I don't know, it wasn't as definitive as the other episodes. This one just kind of there. It's sort of, and it's not even like, I still think this episode was better than the first episode of this show.
I mean, the first two episodes were just downright no.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not horrible.
No,
I will say.
no.
I was still entertained.
Just there's too many questions now on the table.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried about how they're going to be wrapping things up.
Yeah, with only 2 episodes left, and hopefully they're long episodes, because if they're not, it's gonna kind of fall flat. Allie, what do you give the episode as a rating?
Definitely give it a decent 7.
Yeah, I was thinking 7 as well. I think it's an above average episode. You got a lot of things that are intriguing and interesting, but it wasn't a home run in every aspect it was trying. It definitely had some flaws, and there was not a moment in this episode that was like, holy shit, and hyped you up for the next week. It was just, okay, interesting, where are you gonna go?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't know, I'm getting a little bit nervous that they're just gonna start ruining the show. I don't know. I'm hoping that they don't ruin the show, because it was starting to get really, really good, and it's still really good. It's just
this episode just was not what we
I'm
thought.
hoping that they don't ruin it. I don't know how else to say it.
You want them to actually finish the story.
And, yeah,
not ruin characters and everything like that. You just want it to wrap up with a bow in some way. I know it's not going to be fully a bow because you're going to have a continuation with the movies and all.
And that's perfectly fine, but at least answer some questions.
I think episode 7's a little late to be introducing Agatha. I feel like that should at least been done episode 5. Then play around with Agatha. Like, we know she's evil, but Wanda doesn't. And like, we kind of knew that beforehand, but at the same time, like, you should have just revealed it episode 5. Then people would have been wondering, okay, Pietro is like, what's going on with him? There's a lot of things I wish they would have done a little bit differently with this episode, but I am interested to see what they do with episode 8 and then ultimately episode 9. So let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Come join our Discord. It's the best way to interact with us when we're not live on our Twitch or uploading these videos. Next week's episode will be out. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and like always, we'll see you in the next one. Later.